Mr. Secretary, nice to have you on again. Are these economic experts I just cited wrong in your view about a recession?
I think they're not counting the factories that are going to be built. President Trump yesterday announced $5 trillion in domestic commitments to build factories in America, right? Remember, domestic production, GDP. People forget, if you buy a Toyota that's made in Japan, that's not domestic production. Domestic production is factories built here. So you've got $5 trillion committed to be building factories in America, and that's going to drive growth. If you divide that by our $30 trillion economy, that's a whole lot of growth, and you're going to get that starting in the fourth quarter, and that's going to drive this U.S. economy because it's American workers who are going to build those factories.
So let's dive a little bit deeper into that because, you know, in the past when Trump put in tariffs, there was Foxconn, right? He announced that investment. That didn't come to fruition. And what you are laying out, and certainly it would be good if there's more investment, but what you're laying out is this sort of manufacturing renaissance. But as you well know, for businesses, it's not so simple, right? They have to find the workers. Labor is more expensive here. There's concern that trade policies could change in the next few years. And then why invest all this money now if it's just going to change down the road? What do you say to those companies?
Finally changing U.S. policy to protect American workers is what Donald Trump is all about. So what you're going to see is factories are going to be built here. Why should U.S. policy basically suggests that you can find the cheapest labor in the world with the worst labor conditions in the whole wide world, the worst pollution, right? No environmental rules at all. Let's go build there because it's really cheap and we'll sell it to the great American economy. How about we build it here? We use robotics here. It's cheaper than cheap labor overseas. You're going to see something completely different. You're going to see the greatest economy in the world. The Renaissance will be the greatest factories in the world. High tech. People, what are the jobs Americans are going to have? We are going to have mechanics who fix robotics. We're going to have engineers and electricians who work on these great high-tech factories. These are high-tech jobs. All you need is a high school education and training, and they're going to have great jobs, great paying, and this is who Donald Trump is going to build for.
And I understand this is your selling point, but companies right now, I mean, they're just not buying it. They don't want to risk putting all this money into doing what you said, especially when you're looking at a future of AI and automation, doing a lot of the things you just lay out. How does this concept of bringing back this manufacturing renaissance in the U.S., which might be a noble endeavor for sure, square with the future of AI and really looking at that?
No, that's the whole point. So you imagine what you're talking about is all these companies who have their manufacturing in the cheapest labor market in the world and the least environmental rules in the world, and they're being celebrated. And the time is to have those great companies who are great designers of products for America, bring it back to America. Use robotics, use factories in America, and they're all committed. That's what the $5 trillion is, Apple committing. Remember, Apple last time, they got an exemption and they didn't build. Right? This time, there are no exemptions. They're going to build in America. These high-tech factories are going to come to America. Remember, with NAFTA, we lost 90,000 factories. It's time for those factories to come home. It's time for the American workers to get employed. And it's time for Donald Trump to take care of them. Finally, someone is going to take care of the American workers, and his name is Donald Trump.
Right. And certainly, we're going to be tracking this, and I'm sure the administration will, to make sure that they actually follow through on what they're saying they're going to do. But in the interim, this takes long. Unraveling globalization takes a long time. This isn't just an overnight fix. And in the interim, prices will go up. You even hear from the president himself, there will be short-term pain. We're going to see in the next few days likely prices going up at the grocery store. What do you say to those Americans who put Donald Trump in office to lower prices, not raise them?
So energy prices down. Interest rates down.
Right,
your mortgage costs down, right? These things are energy. The price at the gas pump, lower. Oil down 6-7%. Why aren't you talking about the fact that oil and the gas pump is going to come smashing down? No tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax on Social Security.
That's not even in effect yet.
These are all coming now.
I just want to drill down on prices.
These are all coming now.
Because as you well know, Secretary, a lot of Americans put Donald Trump in office because they were unhappy with prices at the grocery store, right? They didn't feel like Biden did enough. They put Trump in office to fix that. In a few days, we're about to see prices go up at the grocery store. What do you say to those Americans?
I don't don't think that's going to happen.
You don't
the reason
think,
it's
can you
going to happen,
guarantee it won't happen?
watch. No one can guarantee anything, but that's very nice. Thank you. I wish I could guarantee
Okay.
whatever you'd like. But the
But
fact
let me
is,
ask
wait,
you
let's
this. Who
take one
pays for the
moment. Wait.
tariffs?
You asked me a question. Let's go through it, okay? Our farmers are blocked from selling almost anywhere. We can't, 1.4 billion people in India, and we can't sell them corn. Europe won't let us sell beef. Australia won't let us sell beef. Why?
Of hormonal chemicals.
Yeah, no, that's not why. It's because they want to just protect. I know, they want to say, oh, what, the seeds are different, right? Other people in the world are using seeds that insects. Come on, this is nonsense. This is all nonsense. What happens is they block our markets. When we open those markets, our volumes grow, our farmers will thrive, and the price of groceries will come down. Let Donald Trump run the global economy. He knows what he's doing. He's been talking about it for 35 years. You got to trust Donald Trump in the White House. That's why they put him there. Let him fix it.
I
okay?
understand.
It's broken. Let him fix it. Our $36 trillion deficit, right, is going to ruin our children's lives and our grandchildren's lives. Let Donald Trump fix the American economy.
But just to follow up with you, when the first time he did tariffs, we did see prices rise on products that were tariffed. That's according to Goldman Sachs compared to non-tariff products.
We had the lowest inflation ever.
The manufacturing sector went into a mild recession in the fall of 2019. What gives you so much certainty? And by the way, this is more aggressive and the economy is in a different place with inflation and consumer sentiment. What gives you so much certainty that this is going to work and that this isn't going to hurt the everyday American?
The largest tariff and trade barrier country in the world is China. And they don't have inflation. So these things don't occur the way people suggest they do. This is a reordering of global trade for the benefit of America. These people have all been living in our house. They've been driving our car. They come by and visit, open our fridge, and eat our food whenever they want. They've taken advantage of us. Today was the day of the beginning of saying, I'm sorry, you can't just live for free off of us. You have to pay. And what's going to happen is the United States of America will get stronger. Our economy will grow much, much faster than the rest of the world.
All right,
right? If you were going to say
we have to get
where
a break
we're going,
you're not going anywhere because we're going to continue
where we're
this
going is
conversation.
our markets are going to be up. And I understand that it's tough for the global markets, but our market, you should be betting on Donald Trump and the United States market. We are going to do much, much better.
Okay.
I don't think there's any chance that President Trump's going to back off his tariffs. This is the reordering of global trade, right? That's what's going to happen. But the world should stop exploiting the United States of America. Let our farmers sell their products. Let our ranchers sell their products. They won't take lobster in Europe or the UK. I mean, why won't they take American lobster?
Now. They do. They didn't for a while, but now they do.
They don't, because Downing Street said they're going to start, if they change their trade policy, they're going to start having lobster dinners in Downing Street.
All right.
So that's what they told me. So the point is, let's let American workers succeed and prosper. Let's build factories in America. Let's let us export to the world. You can't really fight with the United States. We are the customer of the world.
Let me just follow up with you. And by the way, in August 2020, the EU did agree to eliminate tariffs on fresh and frozen American lobsters. Just quick fact check there. But hold on. No.
It's not tariffs. It's non-tariff trade barriers.
I understand what you're saying there.
Remember, they wouldn't Korea wouldn't let French fries come in.
Secretary, I understand. Let me just follow up because I want to just be very clear here because allies and adversaries alike are looking at everything you're saying right now about whether there's room to negotiate on these tariffs before they announce what they're going to do. What I hear from you is that there isn't room for negotiation. Is that right? You said that the president won't back off.
What I said very clearly, the president is not going to back off.
So he's not going to back off of what he announced yesterday.
He is not going to back off. He is not backing off.
Nothing could change that.
But countries can fix their tariffs, their non-tariff trade barriers, which are much, much rougher. That's why the story I was trying to tell you is that when we took cars from Korea in 2012, when I grew up, there was no Korean cars in America. When we took cars from Korea, the deal was we could sell ag to Korea. That was the deal. They wouldn't let McDonald's bring in French fries because they couldn't prove the origin of the French fry. That is not a tariff. That is called a non-tariff trade barrier. They take their taxes and they subsidize their steel industry, or they subsidize their energy, or they give the tax back to their car manufacturer. Right. This stuff has got to stop. America's got to stop being exploited, and you're going to see America prosper. And then and only then will Donald Trump make a deal with each country when they've really, really changed their ways. Then
So it sounds
they
like
go
he might
sit
back
with
off
him.
down the road, but
That's
not right now.
back off, and that's not
so
back off.
so
That
then
is
let me
let
just-
the deal maker make his deals when and only if these countries can change everything about themselves, which I doubt they will.
So
Because
he
the
is willing
that
to
is the
negotiate
that.
then. So he is willing to negotiate with these countries right now, or if they
Negotiate
decide
is
to look.
talking, no talking, doing. These countries
because-
have abused us and exploited us, as he said yesterday. They need to change their
All right,
ways.
let me follow up
Let's
with
see
you.
them change their ways. It's going to be a long time. Let's see what they do. Not talking.
Okay.
Talking is nonsense.
Let me follow up because Germany's economic minister says President Trump will, quote, buckle under pressure if Europe hits back. Given the president's history of making threats and then backing off, why should foreign leaders think he'll stand firm this time?
Donald Trump is going to stand firm because he is reordering global trade. Make no mistake about it, America has been exploited, and he is done allowing America to be exploited. And no amount of the exploiters trying to swing harder at us after they've exploited us for all these years is going to change Donald Trump's view. What they can do is they can stop exploiting us. How about try that? And the arrogance of saying, I've taken advantage of you for decades, and not only saying, I understand that you're fixing it, I'm disappointed that the gig is up and I can't take advantage of you anymore, right? And I'm disappointed instead if you're angry and you fight back to the greatest customer in the world, you're going to lose. We are the sumo wrestler of this world. We are the biggest economy, the biggest customer.
Okay.
You can't fight back against your customer.
Very quickly, the dollar is weakening. Is that part of the strategy here? As you know, some economists say that is what the administration is trying to do here, weaken the dollar.
Donald Trump called out currency manipulation. Technically, right, you would think the dollar would rally on this kind of thing. But why is it falling? Because Donald Trump said, stop manipulating
it
your
to fall?
currency.
Are you happy?
Well,
Is
if
this
the
part of
world
the-
stops manipulating the currency, right, then the dollar gets cheaper. Our ability to export is better. It's easier. Our people.
So this is part of the strategy.
Well, stop manipulating, right? The dollar was just bolstered up by these economies because they were faking it. It's got to stop. We need to be treated fairly. Thank God we've got Donald Trump in the White House. He's finally going to treat America fairly. He's going to finally treat American workers fairly. This is the biggest change you're ever going to see because you have the right guy in the White House doing the right things, protecting American
So
workers.
it is true. It's a strategy to weaken the dollar.
It is not a strategy to weaken the dollar.
But it's
a
part of the
strategy.
plan. It's part of the plan.
It is not a plan. We don't have a plan about the dollar. We have a plan about American workers. We have a plan about American factories. And these are all outcomes of stop you manipulating our currency. Stop it.
Okay.
And if that means the dollar goes back to where it should be because you've stopped manipulating it, it makes sense to me.